Sony Xperia XZ2 vs XZ1. What's the difference? Unveiled at MWC 2018, the Xperia XZ2 succeeds the Xperia XZ1 as Sony's flagship Android phone. It will go on sale in March, though pricing has not yet been confirmed. We expect it to be slightly more expensive than the Xperia XZ1, which you can still pick up from Amazon UK for £439, although its RRP was much higher at £599/$699. Design. Sony's phones traditionally have a very Sony look, blocky, angular, oversized and old-fashioned. Sony hopes to change all that with its new Xperia XZ2, which sees a move away from the previous omnibalance design language to the new ambient flow. Both models remain waterproof. Compared to its predecessor, Sony has reduced the XZ2's towering bezels and introduced curved glass front and rear. It's also added an 18:9 display, bringing the XZ2 kicking and screaming into the future. But while this is an improvement over the XZ1, it's still a far cry from the all-screen designs of its rivals, despite the smaller bezels. The screen is larger at 5.7 in, previously 5.2 in, and adds an 18:9 aspect ratio and support for HDR upscaling, so far from slimmed down. The Sony Xperia XZ2 is actually larger and heavier than the XZ1. It measures 153 x 72 x 11.1 mm and weighs 198 grams against the XZ1's 148 x 73 x 7.4 mm. 156G. Sony has also moved the fingerprint scanner to the rear of the phone, whereas previously it was found integrated to the power button. It's now always on, which means it should be faster to respond. Less pleasingly, Sony has removed the 3.5mm headphone jack. While USB-C audio is the future for smartphones, we're still in that awkward stage where no one has USB-C earphones and carrying an adapter is annoying. The new look is very welcome, but still has room for improvement. It makes the Xperia XZ2 more comfortable to hold, but you could argue its now bulging body feels less like a flagship. Fortunately, the design is not the only thing Sony has changed with its latest top-end Android phone. Core hardware and performance. Sony has swapped out last year's flagship-level Snapdragon 835 processor for the new Snapdragon 845. It's the chip every flagship will run this year, and improves on its predecessor with faster performance, greater efficiency and gigabit LTE. Other core hardware remains the same, with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage provided as standard. There's also support for storage expansion through micro SD. Battery life should already see an improvement over the XZ1 thanks to the processor, but Sony has also upped the XZ2's battery capacity from 2700 mAh to 3180 mAh. Unlike its predecessor, the XZ2 now supports key wireless charging, which is convenient if not a necessity. Audio. As we've mentioned, Sony has removed the headphone jack in the Xperia XZ2, which means you now must rely on USB-C for audio. Until USB-C earphones become more common, we prefer the XZ2's jack, but this will change over time. Sony has made some improvements for those who prefer unplugged audio. However, the stereo speakers in the XZ2 are 20% louder than in the XZ1. There's also a new dynamic vibration system that supposedly allows you to feel what you hear. This is something we'll need to test in our lab to see how much it improves the experience. And, as previously, there's support for high-res audio. Camera. Both Sony phones are fitted with 19MP single-lens cameras, but Sony has made some enhancements in the Xperia XZ2 thanks to a new image signal processor developed in partnership with Qualcomm. It says the new camera offers reduced noise, better color reproduction, and improved contrast when compared to the XZ1. This is the world's first phone OK, along with its compact sibling, to support 4K HDR movie recording. It also supports Full HD slow-mo recording at 960 fps, whereas the XZ1 maxes out at 720p. But while Sony has improved the primary camera, it's cut back on the selfie camera. Previously a 13MP lens, it's now rated at just 5MP. Sony Xperia XZ2 specs Android 8.0 Oreo 5.7 in Full HD plus HDR 18:9 touchscreen. Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor, 4GB RAM, 64GB storage, a micro SD card slot up to 400GB. Rear camera 19MP. Video up to 4K HDR front camera, 5MP fingerprint sensor, 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0 NFC 4G LTE single nano SIM USB-C, USB 3.13190 mAh. Non-removable battery, 72x153x 11.1 mm 198G, Android 8.0 Oreo 5.7 in Full HD plus HDR89 touchscreen, Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 processor, 4GB RAM, 64GB storage, micro SD card slot, up to 400GB, rear camera 19MP. Video up to 4K HDR front camera, 5MP fingerprint sensor, 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0 NFC 4G LTE single nano SIM USB-C, USB 3.13190 mAh. Non-removable battery, 72x153x 11.1 mm 198G. Should I buy Sony Xperia XZ2? It's actually quite amazing what Sony has achieved in 6 short months. Though we can't help wondering why it just didn't get it right the first time around. The Sony Xperia XZ2 is faster, lasts longer, looks a lot nicer and more current, and has improved photography and audio credentials bar the loss of the headphone jack and lower resolution selfie camera. We are awaiting UK pricing on the XZ2 to confirm, but right now for Sony fans, an upgrade from XZ1 to XZ2 sounds like a no-brainer.